Hello, Judy.
Hi, Lisa. Here we go again.
We are.
I know. I love this. It's so
As you
much
say, it's
fun.
the Lisa and Judy show, right?
You got it. Or maybe it's the Judy and Lisa show. No, Lisa and Judy show sounds better. I agree.
Well, today we are talking. We have been sitting here talking for the last half hour, the two of us. We finally had to hit the record button, but we have so much fun talking about this topic together. Today we are getting into writing about memoir when you worry about what other people will think.
Exactly.
And we decided that you can look at this topic like a pizza.
I love pizza. Oh, great topic, although it's making me hungry.
So, the starting point when we're talking about writing memoir is, I think so many people worry about what other people are going to think, and that it stymies us. It prohibits us from getting our truth out because we're self-editing as we start the process. That is not a good place to start.
We're catastrophizing too, because what you and I talked about is it depends what they're going to think. And we talked about some things about that we'll get into in a few minutes.
So when we look at memoir writing as a pizza, there are three different components of looking at a pizza and eating a pizza that we were using as a metaphor for this topic. And they are having different flavors, different slices, and owning your favorite.
I think you got it exactly right.
So let's dig in.
All right.
So first of all, I wanted to talk about having different flavors of pizza, and that's okay. When you are writing about something, everybody has got their own perspective. And just because you have one perspective does not mean that somebody else who is even there is going to have the same perspective.
You can probably count on it.
As we well know from our writing with Sidetracked Sisters.
Yes, that's right.
Michelle and I have laughed about how, well, we kind of come into this honestly because Michelle and I will talk about a topic and she has, as self-acknowledged, she has Swiss cheese for a brain. I remember things and she's like, no recollection whatsoever of that event.
Don't remember that.
You and Mother are just the opposite. You guys get into it. That is not how it happened. And
I think that's exactly right. And, I think we're both telling it the way we saw it. And I was listening to a podcast today and she was saying that your truth and the other person's truth can be so different. And nobody's right, nobody's wrong. We're just telling it as we saw it. And that the beauty of writing with someone that was raised in the same household is they're raised in the same household, but they can see things totally differently. It depends on what their filter was, where their mind was at the time, what was going on in their life, kind of thing. So, and not to take that personally, because you're not writing their story, you're writing your story.
Yeah. And well, even you said just a second ago when we finally decided we had to get down and into this podcast, you had started talking about what would be the theme of your life. And you were like talking about exactly that, what is the ending? And you were talking that an overall arching theme that you were currently looking at was the topic of death. And talking about different flavors of pizza, my initial reaction was, ooh.
Yeah, because that's quite a stretch between death and pizza, right?
Well, that's a flavor of writing or a topic of memoir that initially to me seems rather morbid and bleak, and it's definitely not the flavor that I would write about. I have no idea if I was to write a memoir. what my personal memoir theme would be.
Well,
But it wouldn't be that.
What it told me was that okay, that would be a theme for one memoir about my life.
Well, wouldn't that be
That would,
autobiography? Okay, autobiography
I don't know.
is over the course of a life, where memoir is taking a topic or a theme or a period in your life and writing about it.
Well, except that autobiography would have to bring in all the other things that were going on in my life. And I wouldn't write the death
Oh,
memoir that way. I would
okay.
just write about that focused period. And that's what I was going to start to say, is that I could probably write 5 memoirs all about my life,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd all be different because I have lived parallel lives. I mean, I had a life going on while these deaths were being faced, while we were building up to that death, whether it be, whoever it was. But I'm just saying, there was also a life happening simultaneously with that being a focus.
Okay.
There's the waking up every morning and thinking, oh, look at the sun, it's beautiful, what a great day. And then the black cloud coming down and saying, oh, but I forgot.
Right.
So it's just fascinating how these listening to podcasts. I think if anybody out there isn't listening to podcasts, they need to start listening. And you won't like everyone, and you'll like a few, and then you'll have some you'll listen to every one of them. I think the one we were listening today has written like 200 podcasts, if I remember right.
Recorded 200. Yep.
And quite honestly, a lot of different flavors out there, but you'll find the person's voice that resonates with you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, pizza. What's your favorite pizza?
Oh, that's easy. I like sausage with mushroom and onions.
Okay. What's Aubrey's favorite pizza?
Pepperoni and pepperoni, green pepper and onion.
Okay. When Aubrey was 5 years old, what was her favorite pizza?
Cheese.
Cheese. Okay. Is cheese yucky? No. I mean, I could eat a cheese pizza, but it wouldn't be my first choice. For me, pizza, bring it on. I want pepperoni, sausage, anchovies, onions.
Do you really?
Black olive. I love anchovies. They're like salty and delicious. Yeah, I mean, if they're good anchovies, if they're, but I think that is such a telling thing, and it's such a great example because
actually, I'm gonna have to change my favorite flavor. I think it's that everything pizza from Park Plaza.
Oh,
what is that good. Called?
The is it like something simple like the Park Plaza special or the Spark of something like that? But I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
It's got a little bit of everything. It's got shrimp and meats and veggies and everything.
Every bite is a different flavor.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay, well, that brings us into the second thing I want to talk about is the different slices. When you write your memoir and everybody is talking about or thinking about, or you're sharing your memoir with family members who were all at a particular event, it is okay that everybody remembers that event differently. For example, when you bite into a piece of pizza, your piece might have one piece of pepperoni and all the other stuff, where Aubrey's piece, she may have grabbed the one that is covered in pepperonis and very little black olives. So just because you even come from the same pizza, you're talking about the same event, you can come at it from different angles and have different memories.
And once you take your piece of pizza out of that pizza, is the pizza the same?
No, it's not.
No,
it's not.
It becomes different the minute pieces are removed, right?
Yeah. In the podcast that I had recommended to you, one of the things that they were talking about was a Christmas experience where the person was talking about, how wonderful this Christmas was. And how, one of the persons said, oh, wasn't that the Christmas where Uncle George fell into the Christmas tree? And then somebody said, oh, no, that was the Christmas where the dog ate all the turkey bones and puked all over the place, So different things can can be in the memories of the people and the primary focus of those events from other people's points of view.
Exactly. There's my word again. Exactly. I wonder how many times I've said exactly on these podcasts. It just seems to be a word. I mean, you hit the truth for me so on target that to me, my only expression can be exactly. Anyway, I hope you don't mind.
Not at all. Not at all.
But that I think that is so true. The one that she mentioned in that Christmas analogy was Uncle somebody got drunk and fell in the
Pachysandra.
Pachysandra. And I'm sitting here thinking, what's
And that's why I
Pachysandra?
changed it. I gave it the example a different name. She did not say Uncle George. I'm the one who said Uncle George. And I thought in my head, I didn't want to use the Pachysandra because I thought I'd be using her example. So I think she said Uncle Charlie
Oh, I
fell
don't
into the
remember who she
Pachysandra.
said,
So
but
I turned it into Uncle George fell into the Christmas tree. So
gotcha. Okay.
it
Duh.
had the same
Flavor.
and that's what we do in memoir to protect the innocent and the guilty.
Exactly. And
right?
because you took that slice out,
Mhm.
the story was subtly different.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. Exactly.
So different slices removed will create a different tale to tell.
And that leads us into our last part was in terms of different pizzas, own your favorite. It doesn't mean that anyone's else's favorite or memory or experience is right or wrong. It's just their memory, their experience to the best of their ability.
I think when you talk about memories with people that you know well, like the three of us, I shouldn't say the three of us, the four of us are all going to remember family events differently.
Mhm.
And I think an important piece and something that I've learned out of this preparation is the fact that I want to be understood. And my commitment now is to understand others when they see the experience I'm relating differently. That's
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
They're not right. They're not wrong. They're just different. And I've said that before. And where I saw something wonderful, they see something horrible. And it's kind of like,
yep.
Wow, I never knew. That's so interesting. But it's not wrong. It's just that's their filter. That's what they saw things through. And I think it's also important for the person who's telling the memoir or writing the memoir, as you said earlier, owning it. Just own it. If you just can't eat anything but plain cheese pizza, that's okay. And then one day you get a anchovy thrown on your pizza and you eat it and you love it. Well, then maybe you'll change your mind. But nothing is going to change your mind until you have that significant emotional experience, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I know now if I say to people I love anchovies, they go, what? Yeah. They'll just really
now
freaks them out.
The glory of writing is the ability to revisit things, because in my experience, you keep talking about anchovies, and my experience with anchovies, I had one. When I was in college, I put one on one piece of pizza at a make your own pizza place, and I can remember thinking, oh, it just was so loud in its flavor. It just colored the whole pizza, even though it was just in one little corner. And so my initial thought is, oh, anchovies are just they would take over a pizza. But in my progression of my tastes, I love anchovies on a Caesar salad. And I'm thinking to myself, the only time I have ever had an anchovy on pizza was that one time at the very back in college. Now I wonder.
I wonder too. I bet you your taste has changed to the point. And
but my initial impression is, ugh.
Well, and sometimes the strong flavor coupled with a more minor flavor can be really interesting. Like you said, it would overpower. And what'll happen, I think, eventually is you get used to the anchovy flavor, and so it melds with the, I don't know, getting too analytical here.
We're getting deep into anchovies here. Who'd have thunk? Yeah.
But I even forgot they were in Caesar salad, but I love them in Caesar salad. Yeah,
So,
that salty flavor.
you know, the one example I have here is owning your favorite or owning your experience. I interviewed an author recently, and I was so intrigued by her story. And when I interviewed her, she confessed that it was really hard to write because there was something in the story that did not show her in a good light.
Mhm.
And I read many of the books that my guests have written. And I shared with that author that, you know, her journey of self growth or self reflection, personal growth was fascinating. And, you know, that hero's journey of moving from point A and growing and developing and having those conflicts that we all deal with, but most of us don't talk about, is so
Right.
compelling. And that is a good thing to write about. So having warts and anchovies and, you know, things
It
that
takes courage to write about warts, though. And I think,
does.
when you go back and edit before you take that further, you want to make sure that you have a sense of comfort with what you've exposed. You don't want to put it out there and go, oh my God, I can't believe I told that to the world. That maybe a piece of it or doing it in a manner that you can live with is important to the writing.
Well, I think there are four things, just to wrap this episode up really quick, to make sure that you do to be able to come to peace with your pizza. And
Okay.
those are, number one, write your truth. Write your experience to the best of your ability with all the nuances, to the
Okay.
best of your ability, just getting it all down, making yourself look absolutely awful, calling the people by their real names, not changing anything, just kind of getting it down. Number
Barf it
two,
on paper.
exactly. That is your sloppy copy. That is your first draft. That is where you should begin. The
Right.
second part is don't show it to anybody.
Right. No one.
No one.
Nada.
Then you do show it to some people that are in your corner. People that know you and you trust, but still will give you an honest opinion. The last thing you want to do is to show it to somebody who is going to slam you down, or somebody who's going to go, oh, that's just so wonderful, because that's not
I
helpful.
can't believe you wrote that. Isn't that great? Oh, you're such a good writer. I know. And it's not that good, right?
Yeah.
And you're looking for feedback. I
Yes.
think I even go through that at our little sessions on Thursday night. Is sometimes when we read aloud and everybody goes, "Oh, that's good," and you go, "Come on, come on, come on, give me something to work with here." I know it's not. But I don't
Yep.
know if it's because I don't know why. I'm not going to analyze it, but I really want feedback.
Yeah. And that's the next part is, once you've shown it to some people and you've gotten to start to in that editing process, then edit it to the best of your ability. Make sure that you're doing no harm, that you're turning, the antagonist into somebody, giving them some different quirks, changing their hair color, changing their name, things so that you're not doing any harm in the process. And then you're
Exactly.
ready
Yeah.
to go out in the world and getting an editor and moving on with the process. But in terms of starting your memoir, that's kind of your beginning point.
I think those are four good points and just exactly what we all need to do. So good synopsis, my dear.
Okay, so just because you're writing a memoir or getting your ideas about something in your life down on paper, worrying about what other people are going to think should not stop you. That's the moral of
Exactly.
the story. That is this episode.
Well, and our podcast is about writer's block.
Mhm.
And I would venture to say that a great cause of writer's block is people overthinking what other people are going to think about what they're writing. So I think right in line with what we're addressing here, I think that's a big piece of it.
I think it is. And it shouldn't be. It doesn't have to be.
It can be worked with.
Yes, it can.
Right?
Okay. Well, with that, we'll see you again next week, Judy.
It sounds like a plan. I'll be here
Okay.
with bells on.
Of course you will. Me too.
Bye-bye.
Cool. Bye-bye.